Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are cooking and we are cleaning. We are getting it all done. So I will be linking down below in the description box the exact recipe for you guys to follow with. So first thing I did was to get my rice going. I made 1 cup. To my pot here I added about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I was gonna go ahead and start browning my ground beef here, and the next thing I did was to just add in my chopped onions. I prepared everything ahead of time. I didn't get to show me preparing everything because I wanted this video to be not as long, but so yeah, here I'm just adding in my onions. I also ended up adding in about a tablespoon of tomato paste. I did not add it in the clip, but I did that before I added the tomatoes. So to season it, I used salt and pepper and some oregano as well. So while everything was cooking, I went ahead and I prepared my peppers. I used the green and the red. Some people think the green ones are bitter, but I like them. So the ones I got were quite big actually. So I like to save the tops as well, and I just end up adding them with the mixture. I just don't want to waste all that. It's a lot of peppers once you chop them up. So that's what I ended up doing here.
Keeps catching me every time I fall. You got me safe and sound, safe and sound. We just do what we do. Ain't no joke about love. He's the one that I die for.
These stuffed peppers turned out so delicious, and they're pretty filling. So I only had half of one. The green peppers were really massive. You can't see it on camera, but in person they were quite massive because once you add in the rice, it makes it a full meal. So yeah, I ended up sharing one with Logan, and the kids really enjoyed it. Now the fun part, it was time to fill the peppers. I like to add a little marinara at the bottom of my baking pan there, just so that they don't burn and stick to the bottom. Many times when I make stuffed peppers, I always have some leftover filling for another time and I just freeze it, but on this night there was nothing left. That's how big these peppers were, and I kind of filled them up to the top. So yeah, if you do make something like this and you just have extras, just freeze it for your next meal. It really does come in handy. So once I was done filling them up, I went ahead and I added some cheese to the top. And a little trick that I did, just so that I don't lose all that cheese once it's melted, because I was gonna add aluminum foil on top to bake them, I went ahead and I used some toothpicks, and that was going to hold the aluminum foil away from the cheese.
Swimming around in your bloodstream, can't make it stop.
Once it was nicely covered, I went ahead and I put it in my oven that I have preheated to 350. So once our dinner was in the oven cooking, it was time for a little cleanup. Here I'm showing you how messy the kitchen was. I had dishes from before, and then I ended up adding a little bit more after cooking. So yeah, I started off by loading the dishwasher. We already had some dishes in there, so I was trying to rearrange some of the things to see if I can fit in as much as I can.
We're cold inside the rust, so I know you feel it. Keep getting under your thick skin, trying or not, building and nesting your weaknesses. Swimming around in your bloodstream, can't make it stop. Oh, I just need a toe.
I didn't get to fit in all that much at all, so I had a lot of dishes to hand wash, so I went ahead and I did that before I added our dinner plates and whatever else we were gonna use for dinner on top of all this. So yeah, I do enjoy doing dishes by hand though. Don't get me wrong, I do. I find it very therapeutic for some reason, so I just put on a YouTube video and I watch while I'm doing my dishes, and I find that it helps me with time. Like, I feel like I'm not really doing anything.
They don't know you like I do. Like I do. They don't know you like I do.
So about halfway I had to stop and dry the ones that I have finished. They were starting to pile up and I had no space at all. So here I'm just drying everything up. If you keep seeing me glancing over there, that's where my phone is, and that's where the video is playing. So it looks like I keep just looking up at somebody, but no, it's just the video I was watching. So every time I do dishes, I always leave these bottles for last. Okay, I did say I enjoy washing dishes, but I don't like washing these little things. I feel like kids' bottles have a million parts and you gotta take them apart and make sure you scrub everything. So that's what I was doing here, and I always leave them last just so I can deal with them last. But anyways, while I was soaking up my pots that I had used for the peppers, I went ahead and I cleaned off my stove. There was nothing really to scrub all that much. I just used my microfiber cloth and that pretty much took off everything.
You're so wild. I'm not gonna fight it. Hypnotized.
Now I was back to washing the pots. They were nice and easy to scrub now. I feel like I was everywhere in this video and I'm only in one room. I was only dealing with the kitchen, but I felt like I was just going everywhere. But anyways, so yeah, I have a question for you guys. Do you guys wash your pots in the dishwasher or do you prefer hand washing them? Sometimes most of the time I do hand wash them, but there are some days when my husband throws them in the dishwasher and I find that they don't wash as well as I want them to be, and there's this like residue type of thing that is inside, so I end up scrubbing them by hand anyways. So I don't know if it's the soap that I use or maybe they shouldn't be in the dishwasher in the first place. So let me know down below what you guys do. So on this day that I was filming, it was so nice outside. So when I was finished, I ended up taking the boys outside to play in the backyard while I went ahead and I worked on my garden, which needed some much needed TLC. The peppers turned out so well. Everybody enjoyed it and we have some leftovers. So now I was back to cleaning. I had to change my shirt after working out in the garden. That's why you see me with a different shirt on. So after dinner, the dishwasher was still running from the first load. So I just hand washed the rest of our dinner stuff, and it wasn't all that much. So yeah, that's what I was doing here. Feels like I was washing dishes all day long, but yeah, I went ahead and I finished cleaning the kitchen for the night. I like to leave it nice and clean because there's nothing worse than waking up to a kitchen that has dishes in the sink.
My love, I lose my head because of you.
So after doing the dishes, I moved right back into the dining room and I started sweeping. I like to sweep every night just to make sure that there are no food particles left on the ground. Bear with me, you guys, I am everywhere for sure. So after sweeping in the dining room, I came back in the kitchen to dry the dishes that I had done. I like to let them drip the excess water off first before I wipe them. So that's what I did here, and I was just putting everything away and clearing all of the countertop.
Citrus in our beverages, show only the good sides. Always pretty smiles are covering our faces. You know it is all lies. You know it is all lies. On and on it goes, round and round the rodeo. Breathing out air for a minute, taking my time to begin with. On and on it goes, swinging down in life, you know. Breathing out air for a minute. Hey, would you rather stay right here? Make everything disappear. Keep playing my favorite song. Put your rose-colored glasses on. What if we stay right here? Make everything disappear. Lay low in the beaching sun. Put your rose-colored glasses on. Yeah, put your rose-colored glasses on. Yeah. Isn't it a big crime to get a little lost in everybody's business? Why don't we all calm down? Why don't we all calm down?
Once the kitchen was nicely done, I went ahead and I swept it, and then it was time to do some mopping. I love this Pine Sol cleaner. I use it all the time, and of course you guys know how much I love my spin mop. So yeah, here I was just going ahead and starting off with the kitchen floors, and I was gonna go ahead and work down my way into the dining room.
Breathing out air for a minute. Hey, would you rather stay right here? Make everything disappear. Keep playing my favorite song. Put your rose-colored glasses on. What if we stay right here? Make everything disappear. Lay low in the beaching sun. Put your rose-colored glasses on.
So the last thing I wanted to do before I went to bed was to fold a load of laundry. Logan has some clothes that needed to be folded, so that's what I was doing here. It was getting pretty late and I was quite tired, so yeah, I was trying to get it done and over with so I don't leave it for the next day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for coming along and watching me cook and clean. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below if you're going to try the stuffed peppers recipe, and let me know how it turns out.